Hey everyone, we are live. We have a special guest today. Now, all of you guys know the financial weapon. So Lucas is back with us. I love the emails you guys send me of, we've got the weapon here and he's already killing it and he answers every question. So guys, appreciate you being here. I'm going to talk about a few things you guys are mentioning in the chat. I see there's 40, 50 of you guys coming in. I am going to record this. This is always recorded. So if you guys have to leave early, I say this every week, it feels like, but last week, we went deep into purpose and thinking through this. Today is, I know, a lot of what you're looking for, which is tax strategy. And how do we think through, do we do conversions? What about the timing of this? So we're going to have a lot of fun today, and you guys are going to love the guest. Now, some of you have already told me, I work with the guest right now. I'm a client. I'm so excited to meet Brandon. So I'm going to introduce him in just a few minutes, but I have a few housekeeping things and fun stories for you. So the first thing to be aware of, guys, is I'm going to be talking today about what's called your tax planning window. Now, some of you in the chat, Tim is like, oh, Ari, are you talking about like mahogany windows? I'm like, Tim, not mahogany. Look at this. We've got Lucas. Everyone's like, stay safe in Florida. So Lucas, I've got a whole little spiel I want to talk to you about regarding Florida in a second. But yes, I hope you're staying safe. I want to discuss a lot of things, but the tax planning window, guys, is what I'm going to discuss. Now, here's my request. Many of you guys have been on the past few lives, and you will actually help us chat today. So Lucas is going to be moderating the chat, the weapon per usual. But if some of you guys see a question comes in, and for example, someone says like BC here, can you discuss about Roth conversions when one child's in a high tax bracket and the other's in a mid-level? BC, that's a really easy one. You just get rid of the second kid. Okay, no, don't do that. But what I want you to do is answer questions. If it's easy and it's just simple for you and you see an answer, V Marie, you're like, hey, Ari, thanks for doing this. I have a planner, but no tax expert looking at stuff. V Marie, this literally is going to be for you. Now, the tax planning window, what does that mean? Here's most of you, not all of you, but most of you guys are like, look, I want to retire early. Don't know exactly when, but let's just say I'm 60. I don't think I'm going to turn on Social Security until maybe I'm, I don't know, 65, 67, maybe 70. And then required distributions don't start till I'm like 300. No, it's 75. So you guys are like, look, I have this tax planning window. What do I do in this window? Should I do conversions? Should I keep my income low and try to optimize my healthcare? Like, what do I do in this window? So what's up, Frank? Ari in the weapon here. I want to make sure you guys are optimizing this odd period of time when you retire early and can massage your income. Some of you have rental properties. Some of you go, look, I've got a narrow tax planning window, like Zahir here. Zahir is like, look, I've got a narrow tax planning window. What do I do? And Zahir, it's common. We'll see someone come to us who's 68 and they're like, look, I'm not in good health, so I think I should turn on Social Security, but I don't want that to interrupt my conversions because I think if I turn on my Social Security income, it's going to fill up more of my brackets, which makes the conversions less effective. Some of you are like, I think you just said Portuguese, and we're going to talk about this. So Warren is here. Warren, you're going to love, we've got some fun stuff today. JK, I'm in that window. I'm hoping stays open for as long as I can. Sometimes guys, I'll tell people, look, you can keep working if you want to, but you're actually going to put your advisor in a financially more difficult position because you just keep working and bringing on income because you're like pushing it back, the goalposts of, oh yeah, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, I'm going to retire. And now all of a sudden your tax planning window is smaller. So we can't do as many conversions. We can't be as effective. So guys, if everything or anything I just said sounded like English, just put a Y in the chat, just like this. Just put a Y in the chat. What's up, everyone? We're going to hop right into the fun. So just give us a few moments, some housekeeping stuff. Go ahead. Zahir, you're right. Like sometimes, and Brandon's going to give you an example, sometimes it's not needed. Like sometimes it's like, hey, you could do all this fancy stuff, but what if my goal is to die with $0? Like, how does that change the conversions? We've got some thoughts on that. So guys, about 100 of you guys right now, I know a lot of you are going to watch this back. Sloan is like, yep, that makes sense. If what I'm saying does not make sense, guys, just leave. No, don't leave. Okay, don't leave. But I want to make sure Warren's like, yep, I'm here. I'm ready to go. Lots of whys coming in. So good. Okay. Now, I've got a few funny stories for you, and then we're going to hop in, I promise. So here's the first one. I like to compare tax planning to target date funds. So many of you guys know what a target date fund is, but that is something where if you go and you look at your 401k and it says, hey, maybe I should retire in 2030. Well, I'm probably close to that. I'm going to click that. Well, what happens is that target date fund is going to put you in a mix. The good news about a target date fund is it doesn't really let you screw up because it wants to diversify. Imagine everyone was in a target date fund and all of a sudden everyone's assets went down 40%. That'd be a big problem. So a target date fund makes it essentially like you can't screw up, but it doesn't optimize. And the issue I have with the target date fund is that target date fund does not know when you want to retire early. So it doesn't know, do you need 30 years of income or 40 years? It does not know exactly when your social security is going to get turned on. It doesn't know your rental income. It doesn't know your travel goals. It doesn't know your legacy goals. So it's good to start. But like you're saying here, Bob, I am here to learn more about the new tax strategies module. Yes, yes, yes. Guys, we are going to be talking. This is literally what we're going to go over today. So I want to make a quick announcement before I get back to my little dopey target date fund example, because this is what lots of questions are coming in on right now of how do we save on taxes? How do we think through this? Some of you like Zahir here. Zahir's like, I don't want to leave a legacy. I'm just going to invest in Bitcoin. Zahir, that's an interesting strategy. Up to you. Okay. I'm not going to recommend that. So just kidding, Zahir. Okay. So in the tax strategy portal, and just so you guys know, Lucas is putting this in the chat. So some of you are like, I've heard about this portal, but what are you actually talking about? So inside of this is just a sample case, lots of different things, but there's this tax strategies button. So what we're going to go through today is what is this? And wait a second, I could have way more money if I'm intentional with doing Roth conversions. I can save on taxes. How do I think through withdrawal strategies? We're going to go through this in detail. So if you guys are going, I want to optimize my tax situation, that is what today is going to be about, which I know a lot of you want. Now, I want to talk a little bit about cauliflower. Now, some of you guys are new to the live. Okay. If you're new to the live, you're about to be really confused. So, any of you veterans, I'm calling on you, Warren, I'm calling on you, Tim, I'm coming on you, Phil, Victoria. Let people know, what does cauliflower even mean? Now, I'm going to give you the example and I'm going to do my little story. But guys, I'm going to put a slideshow together. I'll probably show it in a month or two, but I'm going to put a slideshow together of all of the amazing photos of people sending me them with cauliflower in the grocery stores. So this is Janice. Janice, you're a legend. So I have lots of cauliflower stories. I'm going to do my little dopey joke about it right now. But if you already know and you want to explain it to people in the chat, guys, just do a quick chat. Hey guys, trust me, eat more cauliflower now. Give people an understanding of what this means. So I'm going to do my little dopey story. Lucas, I want to hear an update. What is the latest with Florida? Are you okay? People are asking. Look, some of you, oh my God, Warren, it's like, you know, it's coming. What's the t-shirt? What about, we're a veteran here. So Lucas, are you okay? Are you alive? You look alive. What's the latest?
The good news is I know how to swim, so like it can only get so bad. But I am on the East Coast, not the West Coast. So the West Coast is getting hit pretty hard right now. We just have some rain. The update here locally, I'm in Palm Bay, so East Central Florida. The road is underwater, but only a little bit. So hopefully it doesn't get too much worse. I'm high and dry at my house, but it's everyone else that kind of needs our thoughts and prayers. So.
Okay. As long as you're here with us, that's what's important. And so I have a really good story I want to tell you guys. So some of you guys are going, I need the t-shirt. OMG. What the heck is this? Let me put this on bigger. Some of you guys already know the t-shirt. Okay. This is the cauliflower shirt. Now, what is the whole little dopey story? Some of you guys are like, look, it's all broccoli to me. Some of you guys are going, yep, Brian, thank you very much. Pay a little taxes now, avoid paying more later. So most of you know what a required minimum distribution is. And what that means is the government is going to force you, many of you, to take out more than you'll ever need. And you're going to be like, look, I probably don't need $700,000 when I'm 80 and I'm spending less because I don't have the same energy and health to travel. So because of that, what should I do? And in this tax planning window, before Social Security, before required distributions, maybe even before a pension or an annuity that you have, you can eat a little bit of cauliflower to avoid being forced to only eat cauliflower or a lot of cauliflower. So I'm basically saying, guys, do me a favor, eat a little bit of vegetables, pay taxes at maybe 15% or 12%, as opposed to paying taxes at 40%. So I do my little dopey story. So I'm going to explain why right now. So this is a mentor of mine who basically told me, he said, Ari, when you're educating clients, whether it be online or in person, and this was helpful feedback for me, I really love this stuff. And you guys are going to see why I love this. I mean, I don't just talk about tax planning for the sake of it. This is the difference of retiring 3 years earlier, 5 years earlier. So if you're smart with taxes, you get more time with family and friends. Good luck quantifying that. So I really love this stuff. But my mentor is like, Ari, I know you love this stuff, but you're doing an hour and a half on conversions and people get that you're excited. But to be honest, I think some of them are losing focus. And so what you need to do is you need to break it up with these stories. You need to have an engaging way to do it. I'm like, well, help me out. And they're like, yeah, pretty much you should have good stories. I'm like, okay, well, that's not too helpful. Like, how do I think through this? So I started thinking and I'm going, okay, I've got this little cauliflower thing I made up and other things. But just so you guys know, I'm not doing this to distract. Like some of you are like, show me the software right now. What do I do? I'm going to get to that. We're going to show you how this works. But I need your focus on today, guys. So I'm not mad at any of you. I just need it on because today is going to be a lot of fun tax strategy. And I need to keep it loose right now and keep it fun so that when we hop in, you're ready to go. And you're going to see we've got our little examples that are going to resonate. So first things first, and this is before we get into it. And I know I've said that a few times, but I'm about to introduce Brandon. We're about to hop right in. We're about 11 minutes past. So here's what I want to go over. What I want to start with, and some of you guys are going to be like, tax planning, what the heck is this? So this is a photo, a screenshot from our Slack channel in our company. And this is Lucas getting Indian food. Okay. So our financial weapon went and got Indian food. So one, I want to hear from you guys. Is this the most underrated cuisine? Because I believe it is. Okay. Now, I believe Indian's the most underrated cuisine. You can see one of our advisors is like, things us Californians will never understand. So we want to make sure that, guys, I mean, look at the weapons weekend update. Casual weekend, grab some good Indian food, steak on Friday, watched Alabama lose to Vanderbilt, did some gas, propane. So guys, the financial weapon's a cool guy. Okay. That's the takeaway here. Now, Lucas, this is just a direct question for you. What is your main order? When you go and order Indian, is it tikka masala? Is it like aloo goat? Like what's your go-to?
Tikka masala or butter chicken if I'm feeling pretty vanilla. Big fan of like a chicken biryani. I'm a regular naan, not a garlic naan kind of guy.
Controversial.
Garlic, no. Garlic
Okay.
doesn't belong on naan. Mango lassi.
So guys, love that, Lucas. So here's my Indian order when I go. Okay. So I go and I go, I'd like the chicken. And I just shut up and I wait to hear what they say. And they're like, which chicken? I'm like, I don't know. You have 100 chicken tikka masala, chicken masala tikka. Like there's a gazillion. And I say, guys, I literally asked the advisor. I go, not the advisor. I go, the waiter. I think everyone's an advisor. Okay. So I literally asked the waiter, I go, hey, what's the best one? And whichever one he says, I just bring that. And I tell him, hey, I want that. And if it's not the best, I'm going to tell you, I'm still going to pay for it, but I want the best. So Lucas, that's what I do at every restaurant I go to. And guys, let's assume you're at the Indian restaurant or wherever you guys are. And I want to make sure that you guys get to tell your waiter about the tax stuff we're going to discuss today. So what I'm trying to do for you guys right now is connect the dots. When you're hearing me talk about tax planning and Brandon, and some of you are like gobi Manchurian and cauliflower, is that grown in California? I'm going to try to connect it. So every time you guys are going, yeah, Ari, we're doing the conversions and the withdrawal and the healthcare. Well, I'm going to connect that to Indian food. Okay. So I'm trying to make some dots connect right now. I know it's silly. Guys, we are now going to hop in. So we're going to have a ton of fun. I'm going to introduce the rock star, which is Brandon. And Brandon, you are now live with us. Some of you guys are thinking, hey, are the Backstreet Boys back? And the answer is yes. And if advisoring does not work out for us, we're going to go. Lucas already said he's going to be the singer. So Brandon, welcome to the live. We want to, yes, hear from you and know your story and go over taxes. But just so you guys know, if you want to learn about Brandon, Lucas just put it in the chat. Go meet him. Now, some of you on the line are like, I work with Brandon. I already know he's awesome. But if you want to really know his story, he's going to be the advisor we're going to be doing some just role play today where Brandon is going to be explaining how to think through tax strategy and tax planning. And I'm going to be the client that's asking Brandon questions. So these are questions many of you probably have. I want to hear it from you guys. What are your thoughts? So as we're going through this, put all the comments in the world in the chat. We want to hear from you. I want this to be helpful. We're 15 minutes in, so we're going to start hopping right in. Brandon, I know you're going to start sharing your screen and we all want to see everything. But before we do that, I just want to hear briefly, what is it? And Warren's like, oh, we've got a problem. He roots for the wrong NFL team. So what team do you root for, Brandon? And ultimately, what do you love about being an advisor?
Yeah, I'm based out of Fort Worth, Texas. And so Warren and I, whenever we meet, about half of our meetings are spent on smack talk back and forth. He's an Eagles fan, so we give it to each other back and forth, which is great. So thanks for being here, Warren. I'm a Cowboys fan and through, and so they make it difficult on me, that's for sure. But sticking with them, that's what a fan does. We stay loyal no matter what. But I love being an advisor, and what I help clients do is just make the most out of life with their money. That's what our mission is here at Root. And so getting to frame conversations regarding tax planning, regarding how they want to live their lives, it's really fun. And so that blend of the personal side of getting to know people, what their dreams and aspirations are versus the analytical finance side, that's why I'm here. So I appreciate you having me and to talk through some tax planning ideas.
Love it. Love it. Let's do it. So guys, we're going to hop right in. We're going to go into this little model where you can see all of us right now. Brandon's going to stay big. And Brandon, if you can go ahead and share your screen, just tell us a little bit about the case study. Who's the couple we're working with? And
Yep.
I want people to understand what we're going to go through today. It's a lot. So I want your focus on, but it's not a lot of work. It's truly just focus. And I want you to lay back. Some of you start taking notes and you're emailing me about, I actually don't want you to take notes, not because you couldn't, but this is recorded. I want you to just like lean back, really digest what we're going to go through today. I hope it's really helpful for you. Let's have some fun. So Brandon, I'll let you take it away, explaining the couple we're going to work with, and then I'll play kind of client.
That's great. I hopefully my screen sharing okay. All coming
Perfect.
through all right. All right, great. This is a sample household that we have here. And so through our academy, you have access to this software where you can build out this plan on your own. But this is a pretty standard client that's working with Root and for someone who wants to optimize their finances. And so we've got pre-retirees and pre-retiree spouse, 57 and 54, both still working. And they have a significant net worth, almost $4 million total. And those are spread off in different assets, different accounts. We've got a pre-tax 401k. We've got a Roth IRA, some checking accounts. We've got the superhero account. Had to put that in all caps for you, Ari.
Oh, yeah.
And then we've got an IRA as well over here, some home equity built in and some mortgages. And so
okay, real quick, Brandon, before we just go on, can you zoom in if you're able to? Some people are watching on the phone. So in case you guys just can't see it, just zoom in. Perfect.
Yeah, that's great. And so whenever we have our tax planning meeting, the first thing that we do is we start with the plan. And we start with, as a reminder, what do we want to achieve with these finances, these assets that we've built up? Because the last thing we want, as much as Ari, Lucas, and I love tax planning and have these conversations, we don't want the tax tail to wag the dog. We want to keep tax planning, but we don't want that to be 100% of our focus. We want our focus to be making the most out of life with your money. And so for this example, they want to retire here in a few years, spend about $10,000 a month net after taxes. Originally, they wanted one big vacation and they wanted to cover healthcare costs. And whenever we were going through some projections, we actually showed them through our retirement analysis, they actually would have the ability to spend more on vacations if they wanted to. And so we put in
Brandon,
a placeholder there.
Real quick, can you click the family tab just so everyone can see how old is this couple today? So perfect. Profile family. So 57, 54, one child, thinking, do we retire early? Sorry to interrupt.
No, exactly. They've got healthy incomes coming in as well. And then we have some Social Security that will come in the future. We're saving along the way. We've got our 401k contributions, 529 savings, And overall, we've had a meeting up to this point. We said, you're in great shape. We're talking through cash flow, Social Security, some other different items. But now, and what the focus of is for today, is tax planning. And we've seen that Right Capital had some updates. And so what Ari and I wanted to do is walk through that with you. And so in this example, just to show you initially, there's a pretty significant opportunity to optimize their tax situation. $4.2 million in tax adjusted ending assets as an impact to their plan, almost $2 million less in taxes paid. So how did we get there? Because those are some big numbers. So let's make sure everything's coming through pretty well.
And a few questions here, Brandon. You seem like a smart guy, but I'm just a natural skeptic. So just a few questions. I want to retire early. I'm excited about it. I've got, and if you could share just the net worth once again, just so people can see exactly how many assets we're working with. So I've got, you could zoom in a little bit more. Okay, thank you. So I've got 2 million in my 401k. I've got 200 in a Roth IRA because my dopey uncle told me to get it once, but he told me to put it all in Bitcoin. So it's supposed to be $1 million, but it's only 200k, and I don't talk to him anymore. I've got a checking account with 35,000 bucks. I got that superhero account in case it turns out I want to quit my job tomorrow. My spouse has an IRA. So I really want to retire early, but look, I do want to save on taxes. I just want to make sure I'm thinking through the balance here. So I know you're excited, and I know you're going to come to me with, do I convert, and what else do I think through on withdrawal strategy? But I just want, how do I even think through, like, am I in a position to retire early?
Great question. So originally up to this point, we've already really talked through this. If you're a client working with Rube, we've gone into that, laid out all your options, pretty detailed. So for you, Ari, again, assuming you're a client here, this is you. Ari, I know you're a soccer player. So tell me, who's your favorite soccer player, Ari?
Oh, I love this guy, Dries Mertens. He plays in Turkey right now. It's not India, and he didn't tell me his favorite Indian food, but I still like him, so he's my favorite player.
I've never heard of that person. I was
a
expecting,
low-key
like
player.
everybody knows Ronaldo or Messi, but
I know.
Ronaldo or Messi. But anyway, so what makes Dries? Let's say, for example, Dries, he's really fast, but he's not that strong, and that's okay. What if he said, I want to start getting stronger, and he starts working out? Well, naturally, what's going to happen is he may lose some of his speed, and that's what makes him so great. And so we want to have balance, and we want to make sure that the main thing is the main thing. We want to make sure Dries is an incredible soccer player. That's our number one objective. And what makes him an incredible soccer player, he's fast, he's quick, he can pass the ball, shoot the ball. That's what you can think of all these different tax planning opportunities and all these different financial planning opportunities whenever it comes to estate planning, insurance planning. It all builds together to make that great soccer player and to make a great financial plan and to make your life, make the most out of life with your money. So
I love it. I just need to see in the end of the plan when I get to buy Arsenal. So as long as you can show me that, we'll be in good shape.
Yeah, easy. It's so easy. So if I go back to the tax section here and keep walking through some of these updates, let me make sure that's zoomed in pretty well. Okay, great. So we've got some opportunity here, Ari. That's the name of the game. So let me walk you through what exactly these numbers mean and how we got to that number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change everything to where it's an apples to apples comparison, to where you should see, if we do no tax strategy updates, there are no changes here. So
I was about to have $4 million. So what's going on here?
It's gone. Poof, it's gone. Ugh. Sorry. Yeah, too bad. Click end of meeting. The first idea we want to talk about, which not a whole lot of people think about whenever it comes to tax planning, and that's asset location. And how we can think about asset location is we have our overall asset allocation whenever it comes to retirement. So if someone says, I want to be in 80% stocks, 20% bonds, well, that's great. That's your overall asset allocation. But now, if we take it a step further, we're talking through asset location. We don't want every single account to be invested, in this example, 73-27, 73-27, 73-27. That's not what we want, because some of these accounts are taxed in different ways. For example, our Roth accounts, if we follow the rules, they're growing tax-free. There's some substantial pre-tax amounts that we have as well in our 401ks and IRAs. eventually there's a tax bill that comes due on that. And so if I had to ask you, Ari, assuming all things are equal, only one of these different tax buckets, only one of these different accounts is going to grow by $100,000, call it.
Oh,
Which account would you want? Would it be the one that you're paying taxes along the way? Is it the one that you're going to pay taxes eventually? Or is it the one that grows tax-free?
oh, I want the tax-free, baby. I'm
You
all
want
about
the
being
tax-free.
patriotic, but I don't want to pay more than I need to.
Exactly. And so that's our number one, that's where we're starting, is asset location. And so we have some different options here. Which accounts are we going to prioritize as far as holding our equities? And so if we have it pro rata, that's what I was sharing earlier. But now if we prioritize, we're going to have our equities in our tax-free and taxable buckets. Right there, we've got some pretty substantial tax savings over time. And so that's where we start. Number one in the tax strategies page is asset allocation. Going on, I can't see questions, so I'm sorry. Just please
All
interrupt
good.
me if there's
No,
anything
me and
that comes
Lucas,
through.
we're on the question. So just, you can ignore them and just keep going. You're good.
Great. The next thing is withdrawal strategy. And so most people think, I'm going to just take out money out of my accounts over time. And I'm going to do it pro rata, which means I'm just going to take a little bit from here, a little bit from here, a little bit from here. But what we can do is we can actually be a little bit more strategic whenever it comes to how we take money out in retirement. And there are also some rules that we have to follow. We may not be able to take money out of certain accounts at certain times, depending on our age. So this client, for example, this is you, Art, you know, looking good for 57. So keep it up.
It's the Botox.
It's the cauliflower.
There
I
you
think
go.
is what it is. And so let's talk through what actually makes the most sense as far as how we want to withdraw money over time and in retirement. And so if I were to choose, if we're going to take from our taxable brokerage superhero accounts first, then we're going to take from our tax deferred, and then we're going to save our tax free for the last accounts. What kind of impact does that make to your plan? Hit the crunch numbers button.
Whew.
That 1.3 jumped to almost 3.3.
Wow.
And taxes paid is almost $1 million less in taxes. And now the final piece of the pie, if you will, is Roth conversions. So this screen over here, this probably looks pretty similar. Everybody's probably pretty aware of this screen because this is how it was prior to this update. And so just as a reminder, each of these different lines is a corresponding tax bracket. And so you can see we're actually modeling in some setting of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. But eventually, we're going to have a pretty substantial income in retirement. Most people are actually surprised to find out their retirement tax bill is they're in a higher bracket than they were whenever they were working, which is always fun to share that. People love to hear that news.
Mm-hmm.
But there will be some years where we may be in lower tax brackets. There's a tax window that's opening. And so wouldn't it make sense to do a Roth conversion in that year? And so what a Roth conversion is we're essentially prepaying a future tax bill. That's what we're doing. And so if we are in this lower tax bracket and we want to maximize, call it the 22% tax bracket, what kind of impact does that make to our plan? And
Wow.
again, you saw that increase by about another $900,000 or so. Finally, just a quick note, estimated terminal tax rate. This is just essentially assuming what is the next generation's, whoever's going to receive these assets, what's their tax rate? Because that's going to come into account into this calculation as well. And I like to say if this is a little bit overwhelming and you really don't have the time to model out all the different scenarios, like I can go in here and see what if I did the 24% bracket? Okay, that may be a little bit too much. Seems like 22 is the sweet spot. If I'm not able to go and do that, well, then how can I basically solve? And that's what this last page is right here. There's a strategies column where you can hit recalculate, and it'll give you a pretty good recommendation on the most efficient tax strategy for those three different buckets. And so you can see here's asset location, here's withdrawal strategy, and Roth conversion strategy. Which of those mixes gives us the highest tax adjusted ending assets for our plan? All of these are pretty similar. We're talking about a $4,000 difference, but you can see it's mainly because of that
Could you zoom
asset
in on that? I
location.
want to see how
Yeah.
much money I'm going to make. Wow. $22 million over the course of my lifetime. Okay.
Yeah.
So just so I'm clear, so I've got net worth north of $3 million, and you're telling me if I'm strategic with how I withdraw income, if I do tax planning, it's going to add, oh my gosh, just so much more money. Do I have that right?
You have that right. Yeah.
Okay.
But the main thing, Ari, that's not our main focus. That's not what we're trying to hit home. What we're trying to hit home is, how does that actually impact your day-to-day living? Could you afford to take on a client example for you? Dan and Sue, they're building this was the year for Roth conversions for them.
Okay.
But then they came and they said, Brandon, after our conversations, we want to build a lake house, and we want to have memories with our family, with our kids and grandkids. We want this to be the gathering spot. I said, that's great. Instead of these Roth conversions, let's actually talk through, maybe we don't convert them all the way to Roth, but maybe we just take it out of your IRA. And so that way you can fund this down payment for that home. That's more impactful to me than, even though I love saving $5 million more, what we try to do is at least frame the decision for our clients and just say, what's the trade-off here? Am I going to be able to have this lake house or not? So that's what I had to share. Anything you feel like I should go into, Mr. Ari client?
Yeah, no, thank you. I'll turn off client mode and stop with the annoying questions. So guys, a few things I want to highlight. So Brandon crushed it per usual. Thank you for all of that. So guys, here's how we're approaching this. I'm going to share my screen just so you guys can see what I mean. I'm looking at the same plan that Brandon was just going over. So basically, here's what we'll see a lot of the time. And this is the mistake I'm begging you guys not to do. Okay. And Warren, thank you for answering questions for me in there. I feel like we should be paying you. Okay. So here's a couple. They're 56. They've got $2.6 million. You know what they're on track for? Almost $8 million at 93. And I'll say, hey guys, do you want $8 million? And some people are like, yes, like that's my dream. I go, great. Most people are like, no, I don't want to run out of money, but I don't want $8 million. And the issue I'll see people make, now it's not a traditional issue because it's not like they're not going to be okay. But some of you guys are going to log into your software right now and you're going to see this and you're going to go, I'm on track for 2 million. Some of you are going to ask your advisor, how much money do I have? They're going to be like, what are you just flexing on me? You know, you have $2 million. And then you're going to be like, I know, but I was watching this YouTube thing with the Backstreet Boys and they were talking about the tax strategies. And so I clicked this one button and then I clicked one more button because I didn't even know where I was. And I think I'm in the metaverse, but turns out I'm going to have $5 million more dollars. So like, how cool is that? And I have a couple that came to me, Brandon, and they said, similar to you, they're like, look, this is awesome. I want $5 million. And I said, I don't think you do. And they're like, well, you're nuts. Like, what do you like? I don't you want to save on taxes? And I go, look, you could certainly have $8 million at the end. That's nothing wrong with that. But you told me that you wanted to take some big vacations and that $10,000 a month kind of just meets the basics. Yeah, you're able to still go to the Cowboy games and do some stuff. But like, you're not living it up. You're not eating Indian food with the financial weapon. Like, if that's what we really want, you might need some vacations. And those vacations might cost you $30,000 a year. So let's assume you're taking vacations. Well, what does it say right here? Well, it says there's 1.2 million fewer dollars. So Lucas, if you could drop in the chat, I think I did it, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. I told a client that they should have 10 million fewer dollars. And they're like, look, Ari, I'm not a genius here, but I don't know why I'm paying you thousands of dollars a year for you to tell me that I should have 10 million fewer dollars. I said, is your goal to save on taxes in life? And this person's like, to be honest, pretty close. And I said, okay, I get that, but I don't want you to just save on taxes for the sake of it. Yes, you'd have $6 million instead of $8 million. And look at what your tax strategy says now. And what you're going to see, guys, if you remember what it said before, it said something like $5 million more dollars. We're saying we want you to do Roth conversions. We want you to be smart with taxes. We still want to make sure we're being efficient here, but I don't want you to just have taxes drive the ship. And some of you guys are doing that because you're sending me emails going, Ari, did I do good? I just converted to the 28% and I just converted to this and I did that. And I'm like, look, it's not like you screwed up, but to be honest, would you have rather retired earlier? And I'll ask my client, would you rather retire earlier, spend more time prioritizing your health, hanging out with your family, or would you rather be 85 with a more optimal tax strategy? And my clients mess with me and they're like, the latter. I'm like, okay. But the point here is, look, most of you guys don't want to pay more than you need to in taxes. And at the same time, you want to retire with confidence. So lots of great questions coming in. Some of you guys here are saying what Brandon's client just said. I love the idea of the family gathering house that all the family want to come to. I just want to make sure we can afford it. We live in NorCal, the Bay Area, want to keep our small place. How can we get there? Phil, we said this earlier. So Phil, I'm not mad, but Bitcoin. Okay. No, don't do Bitcoin, Phil. Okay. So a lot of what we're going to discuss now, because I want to take it up a notch. Brandon, you've been a legend for being here. I want to get your thoughts on a few of these questions because I want to see our take and see what difference is there. But some of them are like, hey guys, I just joined. Can't wait to dive in. This is awesome. The tax planning is huge. And this estimated terminal tax rate, I'm going to tell you guys my little story as to what happened here and why I care about this. And then Brandon, you have any thoughts on any questions you like? You just look at them and I'll bring it up and Lucas will address it. So guys, the terminal tax rate. Roth conversions in general should be thought through very differently if there are no children, if you want to die with zero. And the reason for that is a Roth conversion, I just want you guys to think of it as tax insurance. You're like, I'm happy to pay today at this bracket to avoid having to pay more at this other bracket. That's as simple as it works. Now, let's assume that you're in a really healthy tax bracket, and I'll tell you my story. So a child of a client comes to me, and Weapon, I know you've heard this story, but for those that have not, child of a client comes to me and they go, Ari, I'm going to quit my job. I said, why? Like, you told me you wanted to be a doctor. And they're like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it anymore. I'm like, I don't believe you. You told me a few months ago you couldn't wait. And they're like, I go, let me talk to your dad. Dad's the client of mine. Dad, I go, hey dad, what's going on? You know, your child doesn't want to be a doctor anymore. Like, what's happening? And the client is like, look, Ari, there's some health stuff going on. I go, tell me. He goes, look, I'm just not in the best health. And it's a recent thing. And I meant to bring it up to you during our review meeting, but I just forgot. And so I said, what's the deal? He goes, look, I'm not like passing away tomorrow, but like health's not great. And I've been in good health. It's kind of the first time. So I'm shocked, dealing with it, not fun stuff. I said, okay. I said, are you familiar with the fact that your child wants to quit their job? He's like, no. I said, let's have a three-way call. So we all talk, and I'm the weird advisor that likes confrontation and bringing this stuff up, because if we don't, who's going to? And so I'm like, hey, child, and say it like that. Okay. I'm just not going to say their name because they might be on here right now. I'm like, hey, do you remember when this happened? So if you're here, don't chat because you don't need to be public. But the point here, to summarize it for you, the child's like, look, dad, I am not going to be a doctor anymore. And he's like, why? Like, you worked so hard. I know you loved it. And he's like, to be honest, the child said, look, I listened to one of Ari's episodes, and he said, if something happens to you, and I know your health because we talked about it at dinner, if something happens to you, I'm going to inherit this money. And they're like, yeah, that's right. Like, that's how this is a beneficiary. I'm over here explaining beneficiary. And they're like, we know what that means. Okay. So the client is like, oh my gosh, you're not going to be a doctor anymore. What's going on here? Why? Why don't you want to be a doctor? And the child's like, look, I still want to be a doctor, but most of your money's in a 401k. And you've shared that with me transparently. If something happens to you, I'm going to inherit the money. And I'm over here like, yeah, that's what beneficiary means. They're like, Ari, shut the heck up. Okay. So what ends up happening is the child goes, I don't want what you work so hard for to be taxed at my highest bracket. And the client's like, go on. And the child goes, look, if I'm a doctor and I'm in California and I'm making a crazy amount of money, everything you just work so hard for is going to get taxed up the wazoo. So I'm no longer going to become a physician. So I'm over here going, hey, are you saying because your father invested well, you're no longer going to be a doctor? Is that what you're saying right now? And the child's like, yeah. And I go, that doesn't make sense. I'm over here freaking out. And they're like, Ari, you don't get it. This is going beyond money. This is now a point where my father, first generation, he does not deserve to get taxed at this bracket. It's not fair. And I'm over here going, oh my gosh, you got to be a doctor. You got to do Roth conversions. What are we doing here? I'm freaking out. And we had a long conversation. In the power of good tax planning, the child is now not a doctor yet, but on track to be a doctor. And they almost quit because their dad invested well. So the point here of the story is, yeah, Brandon and I like tax planning. The financial weapon over here is telling the waiter at the Indian restaurant that they need to do conversions. And we love this stuff, But there's a bigger purpose to this, which is, what is the ultimate goal? Is it like, I want you to just go play around with the software and get a sense, okay, what do the numbers tell me? Doesn't mean go do it. We'll often tell a client, hey, I know the software says you're on track for $4 million more dollars, or 5 million, or whatever it is. Sometimes our recommendation is, don't do this. You're going to be way happier taking that cruise ship with your parents who aren't in great health. And next year, you better believe we're doing even more Roth conversions. So this is one of those stories that it goes deep. It's important. I want to make sure we're thinking through this. Ultimately, this is something that people overlook. So that's kind of my story on conversions and thinking through this and the power of tax planning. Any stories or questions here that come to mind, Brandon, that you want to answer?
Ari, there was one about, I think it was Bob asked for for us to explain tax adjusted wealth. Let me share my screen here again.
If you can find it, Lucas, if you can, let me put your screen on. Okay.
Please
We're seeing your,
tax.
sorry, Brandon, we're seeing your whole screen. Okay. Now we can see.
Is that it?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll do this one. Yeah. Thank you.
Just real quick, this is something that I think really helps explain it. If you go into under tax strategies, there was a summary, and then the comparison page, tax adjusted ending wealth. There's a few different options you can select here. Federal tax paid kind of shows the difference there. Tax adjusted ending wealth just shows, let's assume these two things were equal. They're not, because there's a higher portfolio value because we're paying less in taxes. But let's assume these were both $10 million and 70% is tax free compared to only 10% is tax free. That's what we mean by tax adjusted ending wealth, is what is the next generation going to inherit? What's the adjustment for the tax for that?
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing because perfect. So great explanation. A few rapid fire things I'm going to go through here. So guys, I'm going to answer these for you. Brandon, you've been more than kind with your time. So everyone, we're going to stay on the line. I'm going to go through and answer more questions. I wanted you guys to meet Brandon. I wanted you to hear his analysis of going through this. Can you put in the chat, Weapon, where people can go to meet Brandon? And some of you, and then can you also put the page with all the advisors? So guys, a lot of people that reach out, the first call is with me or my partner, Jay, and you guys met Jay last week. And our job is to go, who's the best fit? Like, who do we think you might like working with? Because what happened to my parents is they were told, that's who you're working with. And my mom's like, look, I know I'm supposed to talk to my financial person, but like, they don't like travel. We like travel. We like movies. Their advisor literally said they didn't like movies, which is like, who doesn't like movies? You know, that's a red flag. But the point here is like, we want to ensure we are getting the right fit. So some of you guys, like Zahir, is like, this is awesome. Like, Brandon's my guy. Warren's like, you can't have him. So all of you guys are putting in great conversation. If this was helpful, please let us know. Like, that helps us make better content for you. And look, guys, we do this for fun. Like, we don't have to do this. So once again, not mad at you, but go ahead, put it in the chat. Like, was this helpful? Do you like hearing from our advisors? I want to do more of these where we're bringing on insurance and Social Security, and you guys have heard enough from me. So let's get to hear from some real rock stars. So Sloan is going, thanks, Brandon. Brandon rock. So Brandon, thanks again for doing this. If you guys want to book a call with us, meet the whole team, Warren works with Brandon. He's like, Brandon's awesome. So if you guys want to book a call with us, you can just go to rootfinancial.com, click get started. When you book a call, just put in your calendar note, hey, I like Brandon. Seems like a good dude, minus his football team. Can I work with him? Wifey says the weapon looks like Jason Bourne, Matt Damon. Oh, tough to beat that one. Spot on right there.
I'll take that one.
We will let you go. Sorry, Lucas, what did you say?
I was like, I'll take that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a real good one. Okay, we're going to save that one. Okay, Brandon, awesome. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next time. All right, guys. So I want to go through more questions. The Weapon and I are going to answer these for you. So, yep, helpful. Yes, thank you. Awesome, guys. Some question. Is the strategies tab on the right capital access that we have from James' version of the Academy? It doesn't matter if you went through mine or went through James, you should have that available. It was one additional click to turn it on. So guys, just so you know, James and I, we do the same, it's same Academy, same philosophy. Mine's designed for an early retirement, part of the same company. Some of you guys, and this is just important to know. So nothing screwed up. You guys said, hey, my probability of success just changed like crazy. So number one, I don't let anyone retire on probability of success. So did this happen to anyone? What went down? Basically, we just updated the growth rates. And so the assumptions, it's all in the course. So you can go ahead and see. But before, some of you guys were not following all the instructions, and I'm looking at some of you guys, and you didn't go watch all the videos. You just went to the software and started playing around. So you didn't understand the allocation. You didn't link in your account. So the software is like, look, maybe you get 10% growth over time, and maybe you do. And so just so you guys know, if you're wondering, hey, what just happened to our plan and is everything working? Guys, everything works just fine. So nothing changed. Go to retirement, scroll down, it's going to default on analysis, click on comparisons, and you can adjust everything right here. So retirement allocation right here. If you guys go, look, I'm more of a growth investor, it doesn't bother me. Well, go ahead and click refresh and you're going to see the impact on your plan. Well, if you're more of a growth investor, what impact is that going to have versus spending? If you're more of a conservative investor, go put that in. So guys, all of these growth rates, everything is shared in the Academy. There's been some updates here. So want to make sure that when you guys are messing around with all this stuff, that you're aware as to how this works. So basically all we did on our end is we went extra conservative to basically say, hey, let's not screw up. If any of you guys are playing around and you didn't follow it properly, what's going to happen is your software might be defaulted on something like 10%, which look, the stock market on average has done 10%, just the S&P 500. I'd rather it be on like 8% with 3% inflation. So a 5% real return. You guys want to go in there and increase it, be my guest. For example, last few years, many of you guys have sent me screenshots of you doing 17, 20%. I know markets already this year crushing it. Guys, it's just really conservative. So if you're looking, what happened to my probability of success? Your investment's in there right now. The software is going to go, well, it's just going to keep doing that. What if it doesn't? So allocation, tax planning, withdrawal, the software is good. And I know right now you guys are messing around with it. I want you to go mess around. That's where it's there. But if it doesn't bring you the total confidence and you're about to retire, but you're like, yeah, I don't know if I necessarily need an advisor yet. How do I think through that? I'm going to post this in the chat because a lot of you guys are asking questions. This is what I ask my clients to listen to before they move forward with us. Hey, should I hire an advisor? Like, how do I think through that? What about the timing? So I just put it in the chat for you. More questions coming in. Yeah, even if it's not an early retirement, you can still, the software is like, if you guys are like, hey, I don't know where to start, or I have an advisor, how do I think through this? Just, it's where you should all begin at a minimum. Now, many of you guys go through the software, you do it all, and you're like, hey, great. I click a few buttons and it's like night and day. So like, what am I doing wrong? Look, guys, I'm basically giving you software to an advisor only thing that arguably I shouldn't be doing. James and I are like, look, we want you guys to be able to play around with the cool software. Okay. But you going and executing your own surgery incorrectly could be like a $500,000 mistake. So this is why like the software is good. There's a reason you don't get one-on-one guidance. There's a reason it's a few $100. Go on, play around, see where you're at. Okay, good. It might be sufficient today. You might, and this is most people, they play around with this. They're 50, they're 55. Then all of a sudden, like, time to retire. I want to hire an advisor. But in the midterm, like, you don't have a lot of help. So this is me like, hey guys, go use something. It's not perfect. Here's a perfect question. Can you do a Roth conversion if you've already retired? Who knows the answer to this? Lucas, do we know the answer?
Of course you can.
Of course you can. And you should be if your plan dictates it. So guys, some of you go, can I do a conversion when I've already have required distributions turned on? You know the answer to that, Weapon?
Can you do a Roth conversion once you already have RMDs?
Yeah. Tough question.
Well, you have to distribute your required amount first. So
You're exactly right. So let's assume I have $10 million in an IRA and I have required distributions, got like a ton of money, 380,000, whatever it is coming out. Can I do more conversions if I want to?
Beyond your RMD?
Yeah. Beyond my RMD. Yeah. You're exactly right. Look at this, guys. We didn't even prep this, guys. By the way, this question, just so you guys know, normally I'll ask this later in the interview stage because if I ask it early, people start scramming. But like, look, this is the weapon here. Guys, this isn't even a CFP ready, okay? So the point here is Lucas is right. Guys, you can do Roth conversions tomorrow. Should you? No. If you're in a high tax bracket, doesn't make a lick of sense. Why would you pay at this high tax bracket when you could wait when you retire, you're in a lower tax bracket? Okay. Some of you guys are just messing around with me and I get that. Okay. There's a few really good questions. I want to go through this. Let's go here. Edmundo, what's up? Good to hear from you. Yep, you're welcome. I saw you had a question, Edmundo. I don't know when it came through and more questions are coming in. So is there an update needed? It depends. And I don't know the answer to some of these, but what you show doesn't seem like that's the one I'm seeing. No, if you log in, this is the latest one. Anyone that went through my academy, this is what you see. Mike here. What's up, Mike? I haven't heard. So Mike, I think you were talking to Katie. Awesome. So Mike, Katie's awesome. Katie works with Lucas, by the way. Academy's great. And here's an example. I think, Michael, I could be wrong, but I believe Dr. Goodrick here was like, look, I have 2 advisors right now. I think I want to work with you guys, but just a matter of timing. Let me play with the software first. And like when it makes sense, like guys, there's 3 options. And I've outlined these before, but I'm just going to tell it to you because even though I say it and I'm not mad, once again, some of you guys are like, you are mad by you saying you're not mad. Okay. And I get it, but there's 3 options. You don't know where to start? Academy. After that, you want a one-time call with me. I'm offering it through the end of the year. Lucas will put the link for that. That's just chatting with me. Let me be clear. Some of you guys will go, I want to do that. What if I just paid you whatever, a fee, and then you just told me and then I go do it? Some of you guys will go, look, I wouldn't let you do it. And you're like, why not? I go, well, we're going to talk about it. It's going to be awesome. And then 3 months later, your plan's going to look night and day, and it does not make sense for you yet. So here's a perfect example. Mark, that's me. I'm 54. I'm not a client, but I'm going to be a client at 60 when it makes sense, unless your minimum jumps to 3 million, in which case, Mark, just put everything in Bitcoin. So Zahir is like, look, I'm not mad at you. And Zahir, guys, everyone here, this is fun. Okay. This is a fun conversation. Us talking about tax planning is to make sure you guys have more money at the end of the day. Okay. So, let's see here. If I expect to Roth convert my taxable over 5 to 6 years, does that influence the taxable portfolio? Weapon, what is wrong with this statement if you're reading this?
Sorry, I was dropping something in the chat. If I expect to convert my taxable over 5 to 6 years, does that influence the taxable portfolio construction? Well, you can't Roth convert a taxable account.
There we go.
Tax account there.
You cannot Roth convert, and there's so many advisors that are like, Roth convert. Well, it's called Roth conversion. It's like, I hate when financial advisors use big words to sound smart. So Roth convert means same thing as Roth conversion. Russell, keep talking to us like a human. I prefer that. But you cannot move your money from a taxable account to a Roth account. That is illegal, impossible. The IRS will laugh at you. So you can only move money from an IRA or 401k. Oh, here's a great question. Okay, Weapon, ready? What tax bracket is best for a conversion? Okay, well, this is easy. Nick, this depends. Okay, so for some people, they're going to be in a tax bracket that's 25% federal and state. So right now, they're retired and their tax bracket's 0. For them, they should probably fill up at a minimum the 12, maybe even the 22. But let's assume someone else is going to be in the 35% bracket. Someone in the 35 might want to pay tax at 25 today. So it's not a cookie cutter. Hey, here's when to do it. Okay. More questions here. Zahir, how will QCDs help without Roth conversion? Okay. Let's open this one up to the group. How many of you guys know, and don't go cheat, how many of you guys know what a QCD is? Just put Y for yes, N for no. Don't go look it up. How many of you guys know what a QCD is? Now, I'm in the 24% bracket. All right, Zahir, cool story, bro. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Yes, K Young knows. Phil doesn't know. Sorry, I'm late. Love your videos for the Academy. Just curious if James has different videos. Yeah, James has different videos. So different videos. The difference is the instructor. You get access to the same software. James is the best. So guys, some of you guys are already in yes, no, yes, no, 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 yes, no. Wow, a lot of no's, more than I thought. No, no, no. Okay. A lot of you guys, if you already bought the software with James's, just send me an email because my videos are different. I'm not going to make you rebuy the software at the same price. I'm just going to put my email in right now. Guys, if you already bought it through James, I'll be able to see it. If you already bought mine and you want James's for whatever, you just get different videos and instructions. I'm updating mine more frequently just because of different things with early retirement and nuance. Okay. Lucas, do you know what a QCD is?
A QCD is a qualified charitable distribution. Do QCDs count towards your RMDs, Ari?
Oh, what a question. They do. So guys, here's what's really special about QCDs. Now, here's a mistake a lot of you are about to make. So let me just make your life easier. Okay. So a QCD, why is this even cool? Like, what's the point of this? Let's assume I'm going to have crazy required distributions, like more than I'll ever need. Okay. I might go, look, I could do some charitable giving for my brokerage account, but it wouldn't be smart because I'd have to pay taxes. Then those are called capital gains. Then I'm going to give the charity money. So the charity gets less money, doesn't make me happy, and they're not happy because they got less money. And I'm going to have these big distributions. So a QCD, called a qualified charitable distribution, lets me start sending money from my IRA, and that fulfills your distribution. So if you're like, look, I want to give $10,000 to the Indian restaurant that Lucas attends so it doesn't go out of business, you can give money directly to that restaurant. Now, technically, they have to be a 501c3, so you can't. But hypothetically, they're like, we're a nonprofit Indian restaurant, first of its kind, okay? So what's going to happen is they're going to give you lifetime chicken tikka masala, and you're going to have all of these awesome distributions. So what you want to do is think through, should I do a QCD or, and Lucas, this is a tough one, so all good if you don't have this one, but QCD, or let's assume I'm 60 years old, Lucas, and I'm really charitable just because I'm such a good human being, but I don't want to give cash because I have this Apple stock position and it just crushed it. So I'm like, look, I'm not old enough to do these QCDs anyway. I'm going to be dead by then. What about other options? Is there another option I could look into?
Well, the example you give is your 60s. So let's say it's your last year working, and so your taxable income is really high, and you give the same amount to your church, your mosque, your synagogue every single year. And you're like, how could I reduce my high income now? You can open a donor advised fund. So if you already know you're going to be giving over the next 3 years, 5 years, let's say, you can front that last year you're working when your tax bracket is much higher than your retirement tax bracket, and then just give out of that account. Think of it sort of like an investment account that you can write checks from, and the funds can keep growing and you get the upfront deduction going in.
Amazing. Amazing. Let me give you guys the best example. I did this recently. So by the way, Lucas, how old are you again?
I just turned 23.
23. Guys, I don't queue these questions up for Lucas. I just do this on the fly. Could Ari and the weapon take James in a fight? Honestly, Mike, I think I would be probably working up to maybe his like left calf. Lucas would be probably working a little higher than me. Maybe he's a little in the thigh. Beyond that, James would just kick us with his other leg. We'd be like, we'd be so small. I just can't even imagine. Lucas, any thoughts?
Is James blindfolded and crippled?
Yeah, let's blindfold James. Then it's even. Okay. Okay. See, guys, these are the questions I get. Phil, this is my third time. What the heck is the software? Lucas, please help him out. I know we get these questions a lot. So Mike, James is pretty buff. Guys, James is more than buff. Okay. So some thoughts. Donor advised fund, charitable giving, QCDs. Let's assume I'm the nicest guy ever and I give $5,000 a year to a charity because I'm just so nice. Okay, guys, I'm just so nice. Well, I want to give $5,000 a year the next 10 years. I already know I want to do that. And I also bought Apple stock and it crushed it. I bought it for $5. It's worth $50K. What I can do is I can give $50,000 to the Taublieb Giving Foundation. That's my last name. Okay. So now the Taublieb Foundation has $50,000. How cool is this? I'm going to give $5,000 a year out of the Giving Foundation. Just like Weapon said, I'm going to write checks and go, here you go, Red Cross. Here you go, Indian restaurant, even though they're illegal and they cannot actually accept the money. I can do whatever I want, okay? Now, why is that cool? Why would I ever do that? Well, if I give $5,000 a year every year and I take the standard deduction, I'm just being nice. I don't actually get a tax benefit for it. So the cool thing about this donor advised fund, and Lucas, if you can link in the video I did on the donor advised fund. So when people watch this back and go, okay, I kind of heard about that, but I want to click play and then pause again and see it again. Go ahead and check out that and you'll see what I mean. But the benefit is I get a big tax deduction this year. How cool is this? Giant tax deduction. Now, all of a sudden, and thanks for Lucas for doing that. All of a sudden, I get this big tax deduction in this 1 year. Well, what if I retire at 55? And I'm like, should I do Roth conversions? And Roth conversions, what do those do? Those increase my income. So my income just shot up to $50,000. What if I do a charitable contribution to a donor advised fund? That might save me in taxes. So now I'm getting a big deduction. At the same time, I'm also converting money to Roth. It's almost like I'm moving money tax-free. So that's kind of stage 2 that we'll get to. Can I draw from pre-tax until 70 before turn on my Social Security? Of course you can. Should you is a different question. You can draw from your pre-tax 59.5. You can use rule of 55. You can do 72T. You have tons of options out here. Lucas just put it in, but you guys, more questions coming in.
Or we should touch on the tax rate question when they said what tax rate makes sense to convert. What is the no-brainer bracket?
Oh, love that. Great question. Okay, guys. So when you're working with us, let me do this because I think this will be helpful for you guys. So guys, has this been helpful so far? Is this too deep? I'm going to give you this example, but guys, I want you guys to tell me 3 things. Okay. So I told this story before. Okay. But guys, just tell me a little bit. Zahir's like, am I too old for this group? You're not, Zahir. You're welcomed here and we love you. Okay. So I went to the doctor months ago. I said, Doc, that sounded great. What you just said, so great. I think you think that you sounded great. Don't know what you just said. So just try again. He's like, okay. So he starts explaining to me the lab that the pills are made in that he wants to give me. I go, Doc, that's too much. I don't care what lab the pills are made in. I need to be in the middle. Tell me why I need this pill or why I don't need this pill. Don't talk to me like don't know anything. And don't talk to me over my head. There's a balance here, which is what I'm trying to do for you guys. So I hope this doesn't feel like we're in the lab of the pills, but I also hope this doesn't just sound like mumbo jumbo. And there's a line here. So Lucas just brought up the no-brainer bracket. So there's a couple I work with today. They retired early. This is their income. Okay. 224,000 coming in the door. I said, hey, couple, how much money do you want? They go, to be honest, Ari, this is too much money. I only want 10,000 a month or 120,000 a year. I said, that's awesome. Okay. But you have 224,000 coming in. And they're like, yeah, so you're doing a pretty crappy job. I said, all right, well, look, it's just not up to me. I get why you're angry, but you have a pension and you have rental income and you have Social Security and you're doing some part-time income. So like this is coming in whether we want to or not. And they're like, oh, so this is too much. I said, yeah, but I have a solution. They're like, oh, great. Aren't I paying you $1 gazillion anyway? Finally, a real solution. I said, look, I have a better idea. I can bring in $500,000. How great would that be? And they're like, hey, I don't think you're listening. I only need $10,000 a month. I don't need $500,000. And I'm like, oh, I'm listening. The government does not care. And they're going to force you to take out more than you'll ever need. Those are called required minimum distributions. So the point here is this is the income of someone today, 224, which is probably the lowest it's ever going to be. But how much do they want to spend? They only want to spend $10,000 a month. So they're like, oh, Ari, I think I'm following, not 100%, but I get it. So I want 120,000 a year. 220 is coming in, which is more than I need. But if I don't do anything, it's going to be like 500,000. I go, you're exactly right. So right now, your taxable income is 193,000. I want to increase your income. And they're like, wait a second, increase? You just said that 224 is more than I even need. So like, why would I increase this even more? I go, because you're going to, in the future, be in the 32% tax bracket. I want you to have a no-brainer bracket of 22%. And right now, you're at 193 for your income. You should, at a minimum, be filling up this number right here, which is the no-brainer bracket. So 22 is your no-brainer. That's your no-brainer bracket. The other brackets we'll talk about on a later day. But guys, was that helpful? Was that helpful? No-brainer bracket. Helpful? Yes. Not helpful? Don't reply. Just kidding. You guys can tell me. I want to know. Okay. Live shows with the weapon and a secret guest are great. Great pronunciation of my name. Okay, Zahir. My last name is Taublieb, and I've gotten Tabuli, Teletubby. Okay, I got more, but I don't want to trigger my past bullying. Okay, so Zahir, do me a favor. Laura, brackets are already built in the software, Michael. Thank you. Laura's awesome. You guys are all awesome. Oh, this Ray, good stuff. Not too deep. Eddie would go. Okay, guys, who knows this reference? Eddie would go. Guys, help me out. Don't look it up. Some of you guys look it up and you send me an email and you're like, the funniest emails. You guys are like, I knew it later. I had it on the top of my tongue, but I just couldn't put it in the chat. I'm like, you didn't have the answer. Okay. Eddie would go. Who knows what that's referencing? Okay. Mainly why, helpful, why. Okay. V Marie, I got one N. V Marie, let's do your story. Okay. So guys, we're going to do V Marie's story because most of you guys go, yep, I get it. Yep, I get it. Okay. V Marie said no. Let's try to figure out. V Marie, and you can tell the people I didn't pay you to say no, to be a contrarian. Okay. So V Marie, I'm going back to the top of the chat. I remember you said something. Now I'm going to be honest. There's been a lot of messages, so I don't know what you said. So V Marie, I remember you're like, oh, actually I remember. V Marie, you said, I have an advisor, but they're not doing tax planning. Is that right? V Marie, just tell me yes, that's me, or no, that's not. Let me look at other questions. V Marie, yes, that's me. No, that's not. I think you have an advisor, but you didn't get tax help or something like that. V Marie goes, okay. I don't know what that means. Lucas, does that mean yes or no?
I think that means yes. I don't
Okay,
know.
let's go with yes. Okay. Some of you guys are like, no, still didn't help. No idea what you just said. Okay. So here's the point here, guys. When it comes to no-brainer bracket, what does that mean? Let's assume I'm talking to Lucas. I'm like, Lucas, you're killing it. Okay. You did such a good job saving and investing. And you're like, I know, I'm kind of the man. V Marie's like, yes, that's me. Okay. So Lucas is like, yeah, I know, I'm kind of the man. And so I said, Lucas, look, you're doing great, but you're kind of a frugal guy. And your saving mindset has got you to where you are today, which is awesome. That's why you have 10 million bucks. But if you just keep being a good saver and you don't spend any money, you're going to get crushed in taxes. And you're like, yeah, I don't want to get crushed in taxes. So what I want you to do is I want you to convert. I want you to eat a little cauliflower. I'm going to do these Roth conversions. At a minimum, I'm going to beg you to fill up this tax bracket because it's just like the lowest, no matter what. Let's do that. And then we might want to do more later and see how things go. But that's what that no-brainer bracket means. Okay. So let's go here. Okay. Arisha, I'm in the same situation. Zahir, my advisor doesn't go beyond tax advice. V Marie. Okay, V Marie, this is all for you. What I'm going to do for you right now. Okay. Let me guess what you're thinking. I don't know anything about you. V Marie, please tell everyone I don't know anything. Okay. So I really don't. So here's what I hear most of the day. Ready? I feel like I've got my investing down. I feel like I have a good sense. I've got Vanguard, I got Schwab, I got Merrill. I have a friend that manages my money. But to be honest, when I ask them a tax question, they tell me to talk to my CPA. My CPA says, talk to my advisor. So now I feel like I'm playing middleman here. And I'll go, okay, tell me more. And they'll say, to be honest, to go even further, I think my CPA sucks. I'm like, that's a weird word. Why do they suck? And they're like, look, I think my CPA sucks because they didn't tell me tax brackets are changing soon. That should impact my whole retirement. I said, what else? They go, well, they didn't tell me that if I just keep saving and investing, eventually I'm gonna have to take out a ton of money. And I don't think I want to do that. Like, don't I get paid? Do I have to pay a ton in taxes? I go, I hear you. What else? They're like, well, if I inherit money, I think there's a schedule I can withdraw from to like minimize my tax bill. Like, they're not doing any of that. And guys, some of you are like, oh, we're about to hear it. Oh yeah, let's see what he's got coming. And Warren is sharing right here. That's what prompted me to switch to Root. Prior one was fine, but they didn't do holistic or 360-degree view. So Arisha, my advisor sounds more like a salesman than an advisor. Hear it all the time. Okay, so V Marie. Okay, V Marie, we finally got some comments from you. Yep, they are telling us to not worry about tax strategy because we'll be in a lower tax bracket next year when we retire. V Marie, awesome. They are telling you don't worry. And the reason they're going to tell you not to worry is because V Marie, they might even pitch this to you. Ready? And I'm going to connect the dots for you. Okay. So they might go, V Marie, how awesome is this? Ready? How many years did you work? And you're like 700. And they're like, V Marie, stop joking with me, you joker. How long did you work? And you're like 40 years from 25 to 105. And they're like, that's not 20 years. That's more than that. And we're like, okay, V Marie, let's get serious. And you're like, to be honest, I worked the last 30 years from 25 to 55. I'm burnt out. I don't know if I want to work any longer. And I'll go, V Marie, as your advisor, do you like paying taxes? And you're going to be like, honestly, yeah. No one's ever said that. You're going to be like, no, I don't like paying taxes. I'm going to say, V Marie, I have a solution for you. Check this out. You shouldn't worry because you're going to be in a lower tax bracket next year. Okay. And you're going to be like, well, that sounds kind of nice. Like, I've paid a lot of taxes my whole life. Now my advisor says I don't have to worry. I'm going to pay less. OMG, V Marie. You know what real me is thinking right now? I'm like, V Marie, you might have required distributions later. You might have Social Security later. You might inherit money later. There might be a pension. So you have what's called, guys, you can all yell it for me, tax planning window. V Marie, I don't know everything about you, but I imagine you're going to retire and you're going to be 65 when you retire, maybe 60. Let's just say 60. You have a window. Your income's going to be low and you could do one of two things. You could go, this is awesome. oh my gosh, I paid so much in taxes. I don't want to pay anymore. Or you could say, wait a second, I'm going to have some big tax bills later. Maybe I eat a little cauliflower in these years where my income is low and I don't have to pay as much in taxes. So in the future, I don't have to pay way more in taxes. So a good advisor should be going, V. Marie, I want to congratulate you on retirement. Let's make sure we're thinking through this and your purpose and what you want to spend your time doing. And at the same time, I know you don't want to pay in taxes because you just paid a lot the last 30 years. But if you're willing to pay a little bit more, it might save you. And this is what kind of all of today was about. So if you're late to this, I think V-Marie, you were here from the beginning, but hopefully your takeaway is, wait a second. So if I'm open to doing some more tax strategies, maybe I'll make way more money over the course of my lifetime. So I'm going to go back to my example, but V-Marie, keep chatting with me. Helpful, not helpful? What do you know? Okay, let's go back to my main example. So this person comes to me, Ari, my tax preparer sucks. I go, why? They go, they didn't tell me brackets are changing. I go, what else? They go, they didn't tell me if I inherit money on a certain schedule, I can withdraw. And I said, you are beating up a waiter and you're being really mean. And they're like, what did you just say? I go, yep, you're beating up a waiter right now that is trying to file 500 returns. You're another one of the returns. You're another client that's hassling them. They have a work-life schedule that's awful. The IRS gives them the worst just schedule in the world. Now, I know what you're thinking. V. Marie is like, well, this is not my problem. Like, they should be doing tax planning. And V. Marie, what I would tell you is your advisor right now is probably trying to file your return. They're probably doing tax prep. One of you said it right here, Tim. Tim goes, CPA prepares tax returns. They don't do tax planning. And that is what we do. And that is the main reason, not main, but another reason people work with us, which is, yeah, I have someone helping with tax prep, like my CPA, but I'm hoping they're going to tell me if I should do conversions. I'm hoping they're going to tell me about estate taxes, whether I should do healthcare subsidy planning and charitable giving, that awesome thing that the weapon brought up. What about QCDs? OMG, did I just totally just wrap everything we discussed today into one? What about equity compensation? What about my business? What about real estate? What about filing status? What about withdrawal? Where should I pull income from? So what we're doing is tax planning. That's very different from tax prep. So some of you guys are like, look, why isn't my advisor doing tax planning? Here's the sad truth, okay? They might really want to, and their firm doesn't let them. They might be a great advisor, but don't have the time because they have 400 other clients, so they just can't spend that time with you. They might be an awesome person. Well, how do I know this? Guys, where do you think I find my advisors? They're coming to me from Fidelity and Schwab and Vanguard going, look, I'm here right now. Like Brandon, you guys met Brandon today. You're like, oh my gosh, this guy's awesome. He's the type that was at the big fancy firm who's like, look, I want to work with clients that I enjoy working with. I want to have the final say. I'm watching your videos going, this is teaching me stuff my preparer never even told me. So you can see, Laura, we made the same mistake thinking CPA should do more till Ari put us right. And Laura, I'm so glad you received my $10,000 check to say that, because you didn't even put a typo in there. Laura, you did perfect. No, guys, I don't know, Laura. How much can one expect from a $500 tax preparer? We need holistic tax planning. Sri, I got a solution for you. Why don't you just go to the dollar store and buy all of your food? And you're like, well, maybe the value is not the best. Like, I don't know if I want fish from the dollar store because it might end up being Fiji water by the time I check out. Okay. You don't know what that's going to transform into. So Sri, look, you get what you pay for. Okay. So Julie here, I don't have 2 million yet. So who do you recommend getting a decent investment education from? I'm willing to put in the time. Ooh, this is good. Okay. Julie, you have two options: willing to put in the time. If you're willing to put in the time, I would start with the academy. And it might be good enough. You might go, look, it's not perfect. I don't get one-on-one guidance, but it's helpful. If you want a one-on-one call with me, you could just talk to me. We'll do an 1.5-hour session together. I'll get you optimized until you have 2 million. And that's when you should work with us. Now, some of you send me very angry emails. You're like, Ari, I don't have $2 million yet. What, do you only want to help the uber wealthy? I'm like, I got a better solution for you guys. How about I only help the people with $20 million? And you're like, what? That's right. I just put out a video last week that got some angry emails because, guys, there are people with 20 million that don't get guidance, and there are people with $1,000 that don't get guidance. So I want you to get guidance no matter where you're at. So if you don't know where to start with the academy. Look, Robert, this is awesome. So Robert is replying to V. Marie. V. Marie, If retiring under 60, need to balance Roth conversions versus getting ACA health credits. OMG, OMG. What did they just say right there? I have no idea. Okay. So many of you guys are like, look, I'm so scared about healthcare. Like, what the heck do I do? How do I even think through this? So this is a common thing. So if you guys just search in YouTube, Roth conversion, healthcare subsidy, you'll see I'm going to come up. And here's a case study for you. What is better? Should I do Roth conversions or should I take advantage of healthcare subsidies? Ooh, here's another one. How do I compare Roth conversions to subsidies? So if you guys want, we can throw these links in there. What this is basically saying is, should we try to keep our income low and get free money from the government called a premium tax credit? Could be 20,000 bucks a year, or should you do Roth conversions? So just so everyone knows, I have a client right now, $50 a month. That's what they pay for healthcare. I have another client spends $1,500 a month. Why does anyone think this client is happier than the $50 a month? Well, they're doing a strategy that's going to save more than $18,000 a year. So it makes more sense to do this. But ultimately, and thank you, Weapon, you're a legend for putting that all in there. Okay, V. Marie, finally, we're hearing from you. Totally helpful. Want to see model of our tax strategy options. V. Marie, ask your advisor to do it. Play around with the software, hire Root, start getting it in order. Okay, guys, 170 of you guys right now. Was this totally overwhelming today? Was this helpful today? Was this, I want to hear from you guys. Like, be transparent. Are you like, yeah, I want more guests. I like this style. Do you guys want more purpose stuff? Because I could bring on more people that are retired to talk about that. I'm undecided if I want to do these calls on a monthly basis, if I want to do them weekly. I don't really know what I want to do. This is a good one from Laura. So Laura doesn't even work with us. 3 or 4 months in with the academy, learning so much. Now we're asking our advisor better questions. Great. Some of you guys are like, all right, I can't break up with my advisor. They're my best friend. And then my wife, who loves them, is going to make me sleep outside. So like, I want to work with you, but like, I love indoor sleeping. All right. Like, don't break up with them then. PETA, the weapon is amazing. Ari says, Lucas, can you link? And within seconds, it's done. And he's got a hurricane approaching. Talk about nerves of steel. Lucas being the ultimate financial weapon during the hurricane. Yes, helpful. Lucas, you need to flip your video so your diploma is legible, readable. Bob, I told Lucas to get on this. You know what he did? He bought more Bitcoin. I'm like, Lucas, we're talking about the degree here. Don't worry about it. V. Marie, yes, this was helpful. Phil says bi-weekly. BC says every hour of every day. BC, all right. I mean, we could just hang out. What do you guys say we do the live show from BC's house? Great help. Thanks, Ari. Financial weapon. Learned a lot. You and Root have raised the bar on retirement knowledge. And guys, look, I don't just do this out of the kindness of my heart. Okay. I love this stuff. So this is also what I think makes it like, you know, when people go, Ari, if you're going to not, they don't say Ari, they're like, hey, if I'm going to give money to a homeless person, is it really for them? Or am I doing it for me because it feels good? I'm like, both people benefit. They got money, assuming they don't buy drugs, and I got to feel good. So the point here, guys, I love doing this. I don't just do this because, why do I think I'm good at it? Because I like it. So if you have an advisor that's like, look, it's just another job. Like, why does Lucas know about QCDs at 23? Like, I'm going to tell you guys, this is the reality. It's weird in the best way possible. Why? And Lucas is laughing. He's like, yeah, that's me. I'm weird. Guys, I'm weird too. We love this stuff. So if we didn't love it, would Lucas be studying about QCDs? No, guys, he doesn't need to do this. I don't need to do it. We love this stuff. And to be honest, I think that's why we're good at it. Frank's like, good, more guests. Personally, I would appreciate information about inherited rental properties and step-up basis. OMG. Okay, I have to show you guys this because some of you guys don't even know this. It kills me that you guys don't know this. This is the last thing I'm going to leave you with. Actually, a few other things, but it crushes me that some of you guys are unaware of this. Now, I'm not going to blame you. And the reason I'm not going to blame you, and it's good perspective. So, guys, I bought a course recently on marketing and all this stuff. And I'm going to be honest. All right. So they're like, look, we have this tool that helps you market. And it's going to basically, they're like, hey, it's going to streamline the writing for LinkedIn posts. I'm like, okay, let me learn. I bought it. And they're like, it's this awesome tool, but you got to follow the videos. Didn't follow the videos. All right. I just went right into the tool. Okay. Now, I'm frustrated going, why is it when he was showing me the tool, it had cooler stuff and now I'm playing around with it. I just didn't click a few buttons. So I'm a hypocrite because I'm telling you guys like, hey, watch the videos. So guys, I'm in your shoes, but when I buy my next course, I'm going to consider watching the videos. Okay. Guys, I'm going to do it. Okay. So here's why I'm joking that I'm mad at you guys. Okay. Here's a question on rental properties. Okay. You could have a question on a million things. So here we are. This is me building the software for you, just so you guys know the hours that this takes me to go in here and build for you guys. And you guys are grateful, so I like it. But let's go to pro tips and more. What is this? Module 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go to module 6 when you're logged in. Okay. Rental property analysis. Okay. It's close. It's not an inherited rental property, but it's getting us a little closer. Oh, there's a tool in there. Oh, maybe we click in there. Let's see what tools there are. Oh, well, there's some different things. Will I receive a step up in basis for the appreciated property I inherit? Well, single cab, this is pretty darn close. So your question here, I would appreciate information about inherited rental properties and step up or not. So look, I'm trying to get you guys as close as possible. Is my rental property tax deductible? But guys, within all of the tools, not only do I give you all the spreadsheets and everything you need to do to calculate this, but I'm also giving you, guys, if you go into the flowcharts tab, I don't know what lesson this is, so don't ask me, okay? But if you go into the flowcharts tab, if you go through this, this is available in your academy right now. Some of you guys didn't know it. Should I have an annuity? What are the important milestones? If I take money from an HSA, should I do that donor advised fund thing that the weapon talked about? How should I take my pension? What about a mega backdoor Roth? How do I avoid IRMA? Should I take RMD? Should I refinance? Should I do a Roth conversion? And guys, these are all amazing flowcharts that help you make the decisions. And at a minimum, you bring them up to your advisor and you go, hey, advisor, like, how should I think through this? Mark's here like guilty, going to go back and watch all the videos. So thank you, Mark, for being honest here. Should I pay off my mortgage? What about the tax on the sale? Guys, I don't even know how many flowcharts I put in here, but this is our team. Maybe there's 100 in there. Maybe there's 1,000. If there's any question, it goes to the detail of what if I'm divorced? How do I think through planning? What if I want to die with zero? Like, guys, you can go play around with that. So many of you guys are replying to each other. Zahir, send the link to your academy. Lucas, I don't even know how many times you've had to do this today.
It's already in there.
Say it one more time.
It's already in there just for you.
It's already in there. Okay. So it's already in there. I trust Lucas did it. So what else? Okay. So that's the flow charts. Some of you guys had a few other questions. You guys said this was helpful. Lucas, go Knights. I read backwards. No problem. I should know what Knights are. What are Knights? Is that hockey?
UCF Knights.
Oh, that's pretty good. Okay. I know Kings. I've never been to a hockey game. All right, Lucas. Actually, Lucas's internet is cutting out. Lucas, with us?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, you're here. Hurricane stuff. Okay. Lucas, give us your best pitch and you're frozen. So we're going to do this later. But next episode, Lucas, you're going to give us your best pitch as to why someone should go to a hockey game, but you're frozen. So you're coming in and out right now. Sri, yes, Ari. Yes, buy Ari's. It's worth it. A hurricane is approaching. Lucas is locked in. He is locked in. We're going to let you go. Everyone stay safe. Hopefully this was helpful. Wow. Are those resources available for that $300 one-time cost thing? Yes. V. Marie, this is you. You go. You pay $300. You don't get one-on-one guidance. You're like, yep, I'm going to go sign up. Guys, there's no one-on-one guidance. Why do you think it's a few $100? And let me tell you guys the origin story of this real quick. Some of you guys don't know it. Okay. So here I am. Someone comes to me. They go, Ari, I don't have $2 million. What do I do? I want to work with your team because I actually don't want to do this. But your team said I shouldn't even pay you guys. So like you guys are the weirdest financial firm of all time. And Russ is going, Lucas is fine. Must be Ari's internet. Probably is, Russ. So we're going to go back to Lucas. DST, Ari, you're the best. No, DST, you're the best. And by the way, do you know DST, what your acronym is for your name? Now, I'm weird. So you guys are like, how could you even know this right now? But this is called a Delaware Statutory Trust. So don't go get this. But Lucas, do you know what a DST is, by the way?
I was thinking daylight savings time.
Okay, so guys, there's a real answer for you. Daylight savings times, which I like. My brain goes to Delaware Statutory Trust. So if you guys want to have a whole real estate conversation with me, and Lucas, you'll find this actually interesting. So I forget what I was going to say, but I'm going to go back to it in a second. So this is like, let's say you have real estate, huge hassle. You're like, what do I do? Well, I don't want to sell it, huge gains. A DST is essentially going to throw off income for you from your rental property, but you don't have to sell it and pay gains. So anyway, back to what I want to discuss here. Okay, what was I going over? One-time thing. Oh, the origin story. Okay, so here's the origin story. someone goes, Ari, you're so weird. I want to work with you and you're telling me not to. I'm like, I know, because I don't think I can add value. And they're like, no, I get that. But like, I'm ready to delegate. And like the other advisors don't make sense. I go, look, you are going to be overcharged working with us. And they're like, huh? I'm like, look, you shouldn't pay us yet. We cannot add value. All your money's in your 401k. I could tell you 10 options to invest in, but to be honest, like just pay me one time for that. And like, you're on your own. Hire me in 10 years. They're like, okay, but like, I need help now. I'm like, okay. So this was 2 years ago. I'm like, go to this other firm. And, I didn't know them. I didn't work with them, but like I assumed advisors are advisors. And they're like, Ari, I just paid them $3,000 and I'm pissed at you. I'm like, okay, like what happened? They're like, they told me what a Roth conversion is. I go, cool. They're like, no. They didn't tell me how to implement it. They didn't tell me what bracket to fill up. They didn't tell me if I should do healthcare or not. They just told me a fact about what it is. I'm like, well, that's terrible. Like, go get a refund. They're like, they said no refund. So I'm like, okay, can I build something out so I can give people guidance before it makes sense to work with us or any advisor on an ongoing basis? And in the meantime, like Zahir is like, how can you add value for me? I don't know. Maybe we can't add value, but ultimately people are paying us. Like, why does someone with $20 million pay us right now? Just because they're nice? No, these are smart people that go, look, you give me enough guidance from tax and withdrawal and estate and investing that you make me way more money. So I'm happy to pay you $80,000 a year when you make me 10x that. Okay. So ultimately, once again, the software, I want to make sure, and thank you, Sri, those who get software via James, the new tax strategy tab showed up by Brandon does not show up. Okay. I don't know about that, but we will look into that. Those who signed up via Ari's, it shows up. Couldn't tell you why, but we'll look into it. Here's the point of the story. So the point of the story, let's assume a child of a client wants to understand if they should invest in a 401k. You know what I could tell them? I could say, go hire an advisor. You know what an advisor is going to say? You don't have enough money. So now this person's 20 is like, look, I need help. Like, what the heck do I do right now? And so originally this academy started by me giving it to children of clients going, here's how I want you to educate yourself on planning. So you guys are saying it does show up on James, just not the underlying tabs. Okay. I don't know what's going on. But ultimately my enrolled agent is in her mid 80s. She's been amazing. I may be looking for a new one. Does Root have a network or recommendation? If you're working with us, we'll give you a recommendation on who you work with, but everyone's different. So I'm just going to put in here who you should work with. Okay. That is why the software exists. So guys, go get it. V Marie, ice hockey is an amazing sport. Oilers fan here. Okay. Lucas, I've never been to an ice hockey game. What's your best pitch as to why I should consider going?
Well, it's the only nice air-conditioned sport that you can go watch, and you will not be sweating in.
Good pitch. All right.
I've only actually been to one ice hockey game, and it was probably 15 years ago at my cousin in northern Sweden. So there you go. Yeah.
Okay. Was it, people say, like, my worry, now some of you guys are going to laugh at me like crazy, so don't laugh at me. Now, some of you guys are like very helpful. So guys, that's why we do it. Can we have a call to see if you can add value? Yeah. Go to the website, book a call. Let's have a chat. Like, I don't know if we can add value. Okay. So here's the point. When it comes to hockey or football or any sport like that, it's weird, but like I went to a football game, and I'm just a soccer fan. But I went to a football game, the real football. Okay, just kidding. I went to American football, and what happened is I just had trouble finding the ball. Maybe that's just a boomer thing, but look, I was like, the play happened, and 5 seconds later, it ended, and there's a commercial. I'm like, look, I'm a pretty astute guy. Okay, I talk fast. I'm into it. I think I'm savvy, and I couldn't follow it. So my concern with going to a hockey game was, hey, I'm not going to be able to find the puck. But is that fair to say or not fair? What do you think, Lucas?
That's very fair. I'm a football fan, and I can't even find the ball all the time.
Really?
And when you're not watching on TV, there's no first down marker, and there's no line of scrimmage marker, and you don't know what down it is. So you're just like, I'm just looking at a blank field on a bunch of dudes. So
it's actually better, like watching at home, you see the game better.
Yeah. It's easier to follow.
Wow, look at this. So hockey has continuous action similar to soccer. That's a good pitch. Jill loves hockey. Hockey, it's a constant action. Like that I like. To be honest, I can't do the commercials. They just kill me. Now, I get, look, if you're hanging with friends and all that, and like I'm weird. When I watch soccer, like I don't want to, I know it's weird, but like I just don't really want to be with people because I like watching like the beauty of the art. It's chess to me. So I want to watch, and I don't want someone being like, hey, pass the ranch. Like, whatever. Like that's not my thing. So go Stars. John. Okay, guys. John probably just joined. Hello, Ari. Hello, John. Guys, if you were to summarize what happened today in 15 seconds, give them your best go. Okay. Zahir walked out of a baseball game. Always happens in the stadium, but in TV is much better. Like, what does that mean? Always happens, like can't find the ball. Is that what they're saying? Okay. Warren, many professional hockey players warm up with a soccer ball pre-game. I have an old man league game 2030. Got to go soon. All right, Warren, we'll end this for you pretty quick. Definitely go to your game. It's not an old man league. Okay. As long as you're playing. And Warren, by the way, like the fact that you're able to go play, like go have a blast. Basketball. I like basketball. I will admit, but I went to a Clippers game and here's my issue. So I with my dad, I talk about it a lot. My dad's not in the best health and I want to go to a lot of experiences with him. So I paid for Clippers. What's it called? Courtside. I paid for courtside seats. And Lucas, have you been to a basketball game?
Of course.
Okay. I don't know if this is every stadium, but the Clippers suck. Okay. So I'm talking to the people around the stadium. I go, look, why am I at a circus? And they're like, what? I go, look, the game is going on and you're playing like rap music during the game. Can I just watch the game? And so I asked them, they said they have to make the games more entertaining. So what they're doing is they're doing like shows and stunts in between. Is that every basketball game or no?
Professional basketball games. Yeah.
Wow. I'm not having that. Sri is like, look, I can't find the ball. Zahir, players were on their cell phones. What hockey is that in hockey? Depending on your seats at a hockey game, you can't see the puck a lot of the time. Hockey's amazing live. You'll be amazed at the size and speed if you're anywhere near ice. I am a fan of like, I only want to be very close. Like that is a selfish thing. And like, to be honest, like, why do I like tax planning? Why do I like withdrawal strategy? I'm like, look, I'm better with numbers and I just get to go to better events and sit close and like have a better life because we're smart with money. Like that's what this comes down to. So Warren, I'll let you go. I know you have to go, guys. This was helpful. BC, put it all in Bitcoin. You guys are awesome. Thank you again for also, you guys answered questions. You helped Lucas out. So thank you for that. And we are going to see you guys next time, which I don't know when that will be, but I'm going to update you guys. If you're not on my email list, ask to be on it. Just email me. My team will add you. If you don't have the software, that's where I'd start. If you want to book a one-on-one call with me, many of you on the line right now are scheduled to talk to me in a week or 2 weeks. And then if you want one-on-one with Root, go to our website and get going on that. Thank you, Laura, Lucas. Awesome. Are you going to include AI in your planning software anytime soon? Thought about it, but as of now, no. Have a great week. Mark, thank you. Everyone, adios. Lucas, anything you want to leave the people with?
Hunkering down.
All right, there you go. Only 8 likes. Hit the like button. Thank you guys. Yes, that helps more people find it. Subscribe, share it with friends. Beat LA. Go Padres. We have a lot of Padres fans at Root, by the way. Stay safe, Lucas. Guys, obviously, Lucas is V-Marie. You're welcome. Guys, Lucas, more than a moderator. Lucas does like 10 jobs here at Root. So honestly, Lucas, nothing can happen to you because we'd all be screwed. So guys, let's keep Lucas safe. Warren, with the comment of the day, Lucas is an AI bot. He knows every single answer. Warren, I'm going to let me take a screenshot of that. Send that to Brandon real quick. Okay. Why the Bitcoin hate? Guys, I'm just kidding on the Bitcoin hate. Okay. But one client was like, all right, thanks, Michael. Have a good one. Why the Bitcoin hate? Got to go battle Milton. Great
That's
talk.
the name of the hurricane.
Oh, that's the name of the hurricane? Okay. Lucas should be getting that on-call hurricane pay. Oh yeah, baby. Let's add that up. Okay. I'll actually leave you with this. So single cab, client came to me like, Ari, I want everything in Bitcoin. I'm like, well, we're not working together. Like I'm not saying it's not going to do well, but like, I'm uncomfortable with that. And they're like, okay, why? I go, well, call me crazy. I like earnings and companies. And I like looking outside and being like, I own a part of that company. So you want to have Bitcoin as a hedge or you want to discuss that? Some of you guys I know on the line, you're not saying who you are. Some of you guys are like, I don't have a stomach for crypto. All good. But I have one person and they know who they are, $4 million crypto position. Now they have other assets. So if their crypto goes to zero, they're not totally screwed, which is a different recommendation than someone with only 4 million in crypto. So guys, we love what we get to do. Thank you for letting us do this. Thank you for engaging. Please keep engaging. Share this with friends and family because we want everyone to get optimized. I don't blame you if you are like, you share an 1.5-hour show. Like we know they're not going to watch all that. So we want to make this fun. We love getting to do this and we'll see you guys next